Okay. Okay, I think I'm live. Got had a little bit of a Wi-Fi issue there. Okay. I'll just wait for some people to come on, but this is our weekly Q&A. I'm a little bit all over the place with the days at the moment. It's just been so hectic with horses and study and everything. So I'll get back into a routine for sure. I feel a bit wiped out. That's the old girl's brain not working very well when it comes to study. But I'll just wait for some people to come on and I'll fix up my settings. And if you have a question, pop it in the comments. Let me just make sure I've got my comments open. Okay. Cool. I think we're all good. So I'm feeling just a little bit wiped out, guys. Just did a bit of quite a bit of study over the weekend, doing the Diploma of Equitation Science, and with having, so I'm just writing my notes here, having so many horses to take care of and study and all of that work. Yeah, it's been a little bit hectic. So I'm having a little bit of an easy day over the next couple of days and regrouping, moving on to my third unit in the diploma, which will be really exciting. And I'll just go to some questions because I know I had a question from Natalie, but let me just do this. So I'll just wait for some people to pop on. It's interesting. We had a bit of a question in the group. Someone was wanting to clip the outside, the outline of the horse's ears, and always clipping becomes very controversial when it comes to horses. I think most of us know by now that it is not good to clip the inside of the horse's ears. The hair is there for a reason. It's there to protect the horse's ears from bugs and dust and debris and that. And it's also sensory as well. They pick up a lot with with the wind moves the hairs in the ears, and it's a sensory organ. Sensory mechanism, I should say, for the horses. But with trimming the outside of the ears, I know with some of my horses, they've got some pretty wild ears. Some aren't very hairy at all, but I do trim the outside of my horse's ears, just the outline. And it is really important, regardless of whether you trim the outside of your horse's ears or not, to be able to allow them, for you to be able to touch their ears. And, if for some reason you needed some veterinary attention on the ears, you want to be able to put your hands all over the ears and even be able to trim. There is some type of, a situation where you might have to trim something out of the ears. I've actually got an Off The Track Thoroughbred in my herd. He got this globule of sticky stuff in the hair ear. And because I haven't done any work with him, retraining or anything as yet, I can't get it out because he won't let me touch his ears. He's getting better, but I can't actually get the scissors and chop it out. So there's some positives for actually being able to get the scissors up around your horse's ears. If it's a perfect example with one of my horses, he's got a big globule of like a sap from a tree or something. And it wouldn't be very comfortable on his ears. So I'm gradually getting closer and closer to his ears. I might do a video, actually. I'm trimming the ears. I'll write that down. I'll just pop in here. Let me go. I'm just going into here. I'm just writing a note to myself, and I'll do a video up for you guys on how to trim, or even how to get up around your horse's ears and that. I'm just writing this up. Dogs are going to bark now. It's going to be a bit of a wild life today, guys. Okay, I've popped that in. So we've got, whoops, there we go. Okay. So I had a question from Natalie. So Natalie wanted me to talk about float training, where to start with float training with your horses, with your off-the-track thoroughbred. Now, float training, quite often, many horses, particularly off-the-track thoroughbreds, may have some issues, even though they've been transported all through their race career. Generally, you know, that they'll get taken, excuse me, the hiccups, race days, trucked or floated, trailered to lots and lots of meetings. But sometimes this can be a little bit negative because racing is very hard on horses, and their association with being put on the truck or being put on the float is a negative one, because they know that they'll horses learn by association. So the float, the truck means going to the races, and then, you know, the pain of racing, they may, you know, whether it's just the physical exertion or the anxiety or stress from it. And depending on their experience in racing at race days and that. So sometimes your off-the-track thoroughbred may be difficult to load. That is something that we need to go back and retrain the basic responses before we go into float training, because if you haven't got your horse going forward to a light lead rein response and stopping, then you won't have any success with going forward and, you know, backing off the float. So you need to be able to retrain your off-the-track thoroughbred to your basic responses of stop and go, to the stage where they're light. So they'll come forward off a light lead rein response and they'll go back. And then when you're ready, when you've trained that, you'll then start to introduce them to the float. So we want to make sure that our horse is trained to his responses, so that when you ask him to step up onto the float, that you can apply your forward lead rein aid. And then also to realize that he may have some negative associations with the float. Traveling for horses is really stressful for them, and it can be very stressful for them on their gut health. I like to give them a gut health supplement before they trailer, and I also make sure that they've always had a good feed of loosened hay. Never trailer your horse on an empty stomach, because the extra movement is going to cause the acid splash up to move around more in the stomach. So it can trigger, you know, splash up onto the sensitive part of the stomach. So you want to make sure that you've given them a good amount of hay before you trailer them. I trailer my horses with some loosened hay, so a hay bag in there. Or any hay really, but loosened's got an acid buffer. So that helps when it comes to buffering the gastric acid in the stomach. And we want to be able to avoid any pain-related issues with your horse trailering. If he has experienced pain in the past, you need to realize that he has some negative associations with the trailering, and we need to change that and teach him positive associations. So first of all, that's making sure to eliminate any future pain. So making sure that he's had some good hay before he's trailering. I think giving a gut health paste or supplement is really important before trailering, particularly if you're going on to long trips, going to competitions. And yes, so those two are really important. Then what you want to do is, and having him already trained to your basic responses, then you want to be able to teach a new association with trailing. So maybe actually teach them to go up and on the trailer using positive reinforcement. So every time they take a step forward onto the trailer, create a positive association. So they get a scratch on the wither. You can use treats. So positive reinforcement with clicker training or treats. So we want to be able to change a negative association with the horse trailer to a positive association. So first of all, incorporating positive reinforcement in your training when you're doing the float training. So say, for instance, every time they step up onto the trailer, you can have a hay bag there. You can give them a food treat, and then you can back them off. So we want to keep it very progressive. and systematic. So you don't want to be, if you've got a horse that has trailer issue problems, you want to train it over, at least a few sessions. So once again, we're trying to change their association of a negative experience with the trailer to a positive one. And depending on what their negative association is with it, whether it's fear, pain from gastric ulcers, or the association of going to a stressful event such as a race day. So once you've addressed, you have your horse going onto the trailer, depending, you'll know your horse, but I would say, once again, we're trying to change their perception of traveling from a negative experience to a positive one. Start traveling them to places, depending on how they are, when they offload from the trailer. Quite often a horse will get to a competition, particularly off the track thoroughbreds, anticipating a race day, when you're now taking them, just say, to the local show, and they can be quite anxious. So what I quite often do is, when I take them somewhere, I don't enter the competition, I don't work them as such. I take them to the environment and I let them unload and just tie them up to the trailer or hand walk them, let them have some hay and just relax there in the environment on the day, and once again, creating a more of a positive experience for them. So taking them out for a trip, but instead of working or entering the competition or whatever, you just have them in the environment where they can relax, have a feed for them, let them have a hand pick, do lots of scratches on the wither. And just see how they're responding to that environment. And once again, we're training new associations. Racehorses have, as I said, they're quite transported very frequently and quite often, but their associations with traveling is going to often be negative, depending on how they've experienced their racing environment and race days. So first, working out what the issues are with your horse and whether their trailering problems is to do with getting, going to negative, a negative association of pain and going to negative places, or it's just your basic responses not being trained clearly. But generally, there's probably more than just your training. I think horses often, when they don't want a trailer, it's because they have a negative association with it. So I like to be able to train the horse to have a positive association with trailering instead. So I hope that makes sense. I quite often will take them out to, at least a couple of meetings, like environments, and even going to, like your local training grounds and just hanging out there. It's not necessarily working your horse, but hand picking, going for a little walk, giving them a hay bag, and teaching the new associations. So I hope that makes sense. So that's just my tips on trailering there. So if you have a question, pop that in the comments. I should be able to see the comments. Say hello. And as I said, I'm feeling a little bit brain faded after my studying over the weekend. I'm doing the Equitation Science Diploma, and it's fantastic. I think after, as an adult, if you haven't studied for many, many years, it takes a bit of order and structure and getting used to getting that brain working again and putting aside study time. So, I'm still getting used to it, but I'm getting a lot better. Lots of textbooks to read and things like that, but such wonderful, valuable information. The equitation science is fantastic. It really is. I love learning about it. And what I did learn, it's going to come into, it's all to do with trailering and everything, but I've just gone and completed the in-hand unit. So when it comes to retraining your off-the-track thoroughbred or training any horse, if you're starting a horse fresh, you always start off with your in-hand groundwork. But with retraining an off-the-track thoroughbred, it's really important to go right back to basics and start with your in-hand groundwork as well. Their training is very, very blurry in racing. They habituate to a lot of pressure. There's not very, when it comes to the actual training that they do, it's very different from what we're expecting of them in a life after racing. They use their body differently. Having them light and in self-carriage and stopping and going to your rein aid and going forward with your leg aid, that's not a priority in racing. It's more about training them for fitness and speed and managing them as best as possible, making sure you've got some brakes. A lot of racehorses don't have very good brakes at all. So it's really important to go back and retrain that before you move on to your undersaddle work with your off-the-track thoroughbred. Retrain it in hand first. It's also teaching, so working in hand with your horse is starting to work with them physically as well. So working with as you teach them to be in self-carriage, not to lean on the lead rope, and to be nice and responsive to your forward and your stop aids and your turn and your yield, you're strengthening up their posture and you're teaching them to use their body in a completely different way. This is really important, and it's a really important prerequisite for your undersaddle training. If your horse is not in self-carriage and not light on the ground, then they're definitely not going to be light under saddle. And it's going to be a lot harder to teach them to be in self-carriage under saddle. They've also then got to manage, your weight as a rider on top of them. So if you haven't achieved the self-carriage and lightness in hand, it's going to be a lot more difficult and sometimes impossible to achieve it under saddle. And it's something that I didn't realize for many, many years. I think way back when I was got my first off the track thoroughbred, I didn't do any in-hand work hardly. I mean, back then there was some natural horsemanshipy trainers that came in and, running around doing the join up and running them around a round yard. That is, from a training point of view, it's not ideal. Because you're pushing them away. I don't believe, it's been sort of shown that it doesn't build trust. It's actually creating more of a fear in your horse. So, but back then I did that. It's, that was about it. So such a big, big learning curve for me to realize now how important your in-hand training is. And to have them I've spent 6 months on horses just retraining in hand before I even got them under saddle, depending on where they were as off-the-track thoroughbreds. Did they have a very extensive race career? Have they habituated to a lot of pressure? So it's depending on where your horse is and how much pressure that, this horse, for instance, that I spent a lot of time with, he had a couple of them actually had very, very intense, like 4 or 5 year race careers and a lot of starts. Very quiet horses. Both of them are very quiet. They were a little bit shut down and habituated to a lot of pressure. So teaching them to be light and responsive was like sort of a bit like chiseling away at rock. And even though people think that their horse is really quiet, quite often it's more that they've habituated to so much pressure and they've dulled down a bit. So it's nice to be able to get realize that they have release of, they can get relief of your pressure aids. And seeing them come back and sort of, it was really wonderful watching this horse in particular sort of go down from being so shut down and dull to the aids and sort of, very dull and not responsive to, then it's sort of like his personality started to shine out. He realized that he didn't have to put up with relentless pressure. And he sort of blossomed. It was really wonderful watching this horse. And even though he was always a little bit, I don't like to say lazy, because laziness is just habituation to the aids becoming dull, unless you have there's something medically or nutritionally wrong, whether the horse is not getting enough energy. But generally making sure that they're nutritionally on a good diet, providing enough energy for what their workload. Laziness particularly when they're not going forward off the leg aids, is usually because they have habituated to pressure, and you need to go back and teach them to be able to respond to just to that light leg aid pressure. When horses understand that when they do the right thing, the pressure goes away, it creates a lot of calmness in them as well, because they're very clear. They understand what you're asking of them, and they can control whether the pressure stays or when you know, they can control the removal of your leg or rein pressure. When they can't control the removal of the pressure, just say, for instance, a rider that continually nags, you know, nags with the leg. You'll see that sort of in pony clubs and sort of riding school horses, you know, tap, 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 and the horse goes forward, but the rider just keeps, or some dressage, you know, you see it quite a lot in dressage, dressage competitions and that as well, the habitual leg on and on and on. So the horse hasn't got any relief of that pressure, and it creates a lot of confusion. And if they can't remove the pressure, they will either start to show conflict behaviors from the confusion. Imagine if someone just kept at you all the time. They were trying to push you, or, you know, just say move to the left, and you move to the left, but the pressure never went away, and it was just there non-stop. It would do your head in. And you either become numb to that pressure and dull down, or you're like, get it off me. And a horse, being a flight animal, will, you know, depending on their temperament, will start rearing or pig rooting or jacking up to try and remove this pressure, or they habituate it to it, and that affects them psychologically because they are confused. They don't know what it means, and they don't know what's been asked of them. So yeah, so clear training of the aids and clear removal of the pressure is so important in all types of training. It's called negative reinforcement. Well, that's removal of the pressure, but it's called it's operant conditioning learning, or what's called trial and error learning. It's not only done with horses, but all animal training. We do negative reinforcement quite often with horses to start with, because we're sitting on their back. We're on a riding animal as well. They do use pressure release themselves in the herd environment, but it's it's a safe way to train, for instance, because it's very clear for the horse, and you can gain control over the horse's movements, which is what we need, you know, working with such a large and flight animal. But we can also make it very ethical by training down our pressure responses so that they're not, we never want them to be painful or, you know, very aversive. We just want them to be niggly. And the horse learns by association. So the horse learns that as soon as the pressure is removed, whatever he did before the removal of that pressure, just say it's your little leg nudge, is the right response. So that's how horses learn. By the removal of the pressure indicates that whatever that horse did before the pressure was removed is the right response to get rid of that pressure. Now, this can go wrong, for instance, and we were talking about trimming ears in the group just before. I was going to have a sip of my coffee. So, for instance, you can teach the wrong response, and it happens all the time. Horse that's head shy. So you'll go and put your hand up. Someone will try, and just say you're trying to do their ears. Trim some. We had a bit of someone trim the outline of the ears. And that, I mean, I haven't got a problem with trimming the outline of the ears. It's a bit controversial. You never want to take the hairs out of the inner ear. That's absolutely, we all know that. But I won't go into the ear trimming thing, but I'll just give you an example of, if you're on here, just pop something in the comments just to let me know that you can comment. If you can't comment, I know why no one's commenting. Tech. Oh my golly gosh, tech. Really confuses me sometimes. I'm not getting any comments, so yeah, just to let you know, if you've popped a comment in and I haven't commented, it's because it hasn't come through. So I'll just talk about how you can train the wrong response. So, for instance, we now know that horses will learn. They learn in a variety of ways, but they learn by association. They can't think and plan ahead. So a horse, for instance, learns by the removal of the pressure that has followed what they've immediately done beforehand. So let's give an example. So we'll do the right way. So you give a little nudge, light nudge with your lower leg. As soon as your horse takes a step forward, you stop that nudging straight away, remove the pressure, and the horse has learnt that, oh, if I take a step forward by this stimuli, it goes away. So that's the right thing to do. He's learnt that the right response is to take a step forward and your leg aid goes away. So this is how horses learn, and also to teaching them this way is very clear training for them, and it creates calmness in the horse because they can control their environment. They can get rid of the pressure. They can, if a rein aid to the left, okay, as soon as they take a step forward to the left, that pressure goes away. So they're in control. They can control when the pressure is taken away. And that creates calmness and security in your horse. It's when the pressure isn't taken away that conflict happens. But what I wanted to give an example of is how we can also train the wrong response. So we want to train our horse to be able, for me to be able to touch his ears. So if I go and put my hand up onto his ear and he moves it, as soon as I go to touch, just say the front of his face, okay, he moves his head away. So that means that you take your hand away, or he has, by moving his head away, removed your hand off his head. You have taught him, he has learned that to remove the pressure of the hand is to throw his head up. So you can see how you have taught him to throw his head away as you go to touch his ears or touch the front of his face. So we want to make sure that when we're teaching our horse to just say, be able to touch his ears or be able to stroke his head, that it's, first of all, it's their ears and their face are, very sensitive. And quite often you don't want to come front ways with touching your horse. You want to become sort of sideways. They can see, they've got their peripheral vision. They can't see what's coming straight ahead of them. And two, you want to gradually get them used to their ears being touched. So first, you want to make sure that you can gradually move up their ears, and that when they go to move their head away, your hand either goes with them, okay, so it doesn't come off their head or their neck, wherever you are. And also two, teach them, you want to be able to teach head down before you do this. So always go down to head control, so asking them to be able to lower their head and then raise their head. So at least you can give them that cue. But the important thing is, just another scenario would be, first of all, I want to make sure, before I even go to touch their ears, I want to first of all make sure that they're habituated so that I can touch their neck. Okay, if you can't touch their neck, you're not going to be able to get to their head and their ears. So you want to be able to teach them to enjoy some touch and stroking on the neck, give a scratch on the wither, and gradually habituate them to going up the neck. So we're doing an example of being able to touch the ears. When you see that they're relaxed, as you get closer up towards their ears, okay, and you start to feel them pull away, stop there, okay, leave your hand there, and when they stop moving their head away, then you remove their hand. So what you've taught them now is, when they keep their head still or their neck still, the pressure goes away. So a bit of a combination of getting them desensitized or habituated to your hand. So we're doing two types of learning here: getting them habituated to your hand, teaching them to enjoy some touch as well and getting used to being touched. I'll do some videos because I've got two horses that are tricky with their ears being touched. One's a rescue horse, so he's been traumatized, and two is an off-the-track thoroughbred that's got that little bally thing in his ear that I can't get. So two different types of reasons that they don't want to be touched around the ears. So just exampling what the type of training that I'm teaching, type of learning that tools that we're using here. We're using habituation, getting him used to being touched, okay. We're teaching a different association, so trying to incorporate it maybe with a scratch on the wither, getting those little, see if he enjoys it. And sort of teaching him to tolerate your hand, depending if he doesn't like being touched, or But we're trying to train a different association to go about, oh, I don't want to be touched. My muscles are tight and sore. That's a common thing with off the track thoroughbred racehorses. They're very tight. They can get tight and sore in their body. It can be nutritional if they're lacking in calcium. The muscles tighten up more. So a lot of things can make them not want to be touched. So it's not just negative associations, but also tight, sore muscles that feel unpleasant with them when they're being touched. I mean, there's a lot of reasons, also detachment. So it's a psychological reason of being so detached and not enjoying touch, because racehorses are weaned fairly young, but then they enter into racing where they're individually stabled. So they miss out on that learning, that tactile interaction that horses need. I mean, this is a topic in itself of why your off the track thoroughbred may not like being touched. I might do that as another topic. Let me write that. I write down so many content things. I'll put that down in my content to do. Sorry, guys, I've got to write everything down, otherwise I forget. I've got notes everywhere. So anyway, why aren't I getting any comments? No one want to talk to me. I put on hey, Sarah Becca. No, really? Big fires. Friend had to evacuate horses and now bringing them back. No way. Oh, no, that's okay. Well, sorry to be late. I've been just chatting away, talking about training, actually. You can go back and watch the replay. You know what I'm like. I just 104. What's that in? Wow. It's just crazy times in the world at the moment. Oh, you were listening, talking about the training? Cool. I feel a bit, no, a little bit, just study. Oh, my God. Hey, Paula. Oh, no, are you sick, are you? No, I won't. I haven't been feeling 100% either, so I won't last long. I've got lots of, I just have to get my study. I'm doing, good on you, Sarah Becca, while driving. It's really good. The whole in hand. So I finished I hope I pass. I'm not a very good student. I'm really not. But I'm learning. I'm becoming a good student. But there's 9 units in the diploma of equitation science. So I am in unit 2. I just completed unit 2. High fire dangers. Yeah, you're going into fall and winter, aren't you, Sarah Becca? And we're going into spring. Actually, it's a beautiful day here. I'm so looking forward to spring. I really am. Paula, I'm so sorry you're not feeling well. What have you got, the flu or a cold or something? There's so many bugs going around and just horrible. I feel a bit fatigued. I think the stress of having 19 horses off the grass and on hay. I'm like, oh my God, how am I financially going to be able to do it? But I scored a big flu. Yeah, very fatigued. Have you tried? I was really fatigued after getting the flu. There's 2 things. Have you tried Paul? Have you tried Siberian ginseng? It is so good for. I found that when I was getting really, really sick. Sorry, my guys. Siberian ginseng is incredible for fatigue. It's made such a difference to me. That and spirulina, really good for immune system as well. Horrible. I was so fatigued a few months ago. I really was. I'll go get them. I'll show you. I was so fatigued. I'll show you. has become Doctor. I'm right into health. So this is cheap food. This is cheap. This is Siberian ginseng. You get it iHerb online. It's worldwide. So Sarah Becker, if you want to get some ginseng into you, it's backwards now. Eleutherio is the herb name. This is on iHerb. Really good, and it was really cheap. I've got a few off iHerb. Traditional, and it's amazing. This is, what is this, 250 capsules, and I take 2 a day, so 1 gram. It's amazing. That really, when I was feeling really run down, this has really helped me. And another one, which is like powerful, spirulina. Now, this is by far the best spirulina that you could possibly get. This is a powder form. Not many people can take powder form. It's like having 10 coffees. Oh, this is powder. I love it. I tried a now spirulina, and it was good. Yeah, Sarah Becker, I love this. What brand do you use? I completely gone off the horse topic. Anyway, we'll get back to this is Hawaiian Pacifica, and I will take a teaspoon of this, and I'm like Superwoman. It is unbelievable. This is so strong. I tend to not put it in my smoothies because it makes it a bit green. Bee pollen. I can't have any type of pollen or honey or anything because I love honey so much. I eat the whole jar in a day. But this, Paula, this is Hawaiian Pacifica Green Internationals. It is powerful. Blue green algae. Brands. There's a lot of brands around, but iHerb have I don't know where this is made over in, packed in Australia, but I don't know whether it's overseas. Microorganics it's made by, but it is just fantastic. They're my lifesavers. And both of them are really good for your immune system. The spirulina, some people can't have spirulina because it keeps them awake, but this is by far the best brand. So Paula, let me know. Being a woozy, I know you've had that. Yeah, it is. Caffeine. Oh, caffeine. I'd die without it. But it is pretty potent, Paula. It is. You have to be pretty tough to take the powder. I don't mind the taste of powder, but the capsules are easier, aren't they? Like you just take them and you don't have to worry about going, oh, you have to drink that. But get back on that, Paula. Hopefully that'll help you. But the Siberian ginseng, I noticed a massive. I got my ex partner. We're really good friends. I actually got him on the immune defense, ethical nutrients, immune defense. When we were Zooming. Yes. So, I'm so sorry I've been behind in everything. I've just had to get that diploma out of the way. I've been working on the academy, and I'm doing a group one. I'll go into that. I'll put a post up for that. But I'll catch up on that one this week. Caffeine is just amazing. But what we'll go into, and it was really good because I was going through all the videos of Ty, so we'll go through all the in-hand work, and the in-hand unit that I just completed was just so worked out perfectly, actually. So I'm a lot clearer in how to structure it together as well. I can sort of copy the structure off a little bit from what I've gone through with the in-hand unit. But everything starts off with in-hand work. It's so important. And what I'm going to do is I've got set back with poor Tommy. So I started doing, I started working with Tommy because you said you started watching some of Tommy videos. And then Tommy it's been hard with consistent with the horses because Tommy got then quite sick. So I haven't been able to continue the videos with Tommy. I will go back to them. He's getting over his big head. He's got he's still showing a little bit of head flicking. He's such a horse that is so sensitive to pasture. So I don't want to do anything with him until he's feeling 100% right. So I've brought Dragon into work now. So Dragon will be really good because I'll share some of the videos. I've videoed them from my online course, but I'll share what I did my assessment on because Dragon is a bit sensitive to the whip. So this will be perfect for you, Paula, because he's doing exactly what your mare will do when you bring in the dressage whip. So I've already done 2 videos with Dragon with that. I'll upload that onto YouTube. Actually, I already uploaded it. But just some habituation to the whip. His head. I hope he's going to go. I hope his head does go back, Sarah Becker. Sometimes they do. Quite often it depends on how he's an older horse. Yes, that's the one I watched. Yeah. Oh, okay. I hope his head does go back. I'm just looking at his head now. Which one did you watch? The in hand, working in hand? He's a beautiful big boy. I've retrained him. I didn't retrain him exactly the way I would now because I didn't know then what I know now. I didn't spend enough on the in-hand work for a start. Yes, the dressage whip intro. That's really important. The dressage whip is really important to train at the beginning because it's going to... Oh, I was in the course page. Okay. I don't even know where I'm up to. What course pages? I didn't know I had a dressage whip intro in the course page. I'll go and have a look. Did you say you couldn't get into the modules? Oh, from the main page. Okay. Yep. Could you get it, Sarah Becker? Could you get into the modules? Can you access the Off the Track Thoroughbred Success? Have you done that? Yes, Paula, have you done the Off the Track Thoroughbred Success? You've done that course, haven't you? Because I'm building on that one. And that's what's going to go into the in-hand unit. Oh, you know why, Sarah Beckett? Because I think that what you should be able to, let me go in. Now, I've changed, I think you're going into the course itself. Now, there's actually I did put a link up. No, not editing it, but what I've done is turned it into a portal, and you might be trying to log in with the course. It's a bit confusing. I reached out to Katra. You've got to go to the portal login link, because what's going to happen is when you go into your Off the Track Thoroughbred Success Academy, there's going to be the group section, which is like our chat area where everything's going to be up. And then there's going to be, I have edited it where it's going to be the Off the Track Thoroughbred Success library, and you're going to have all different courses in there. So I think what's happening is you're going to the wrong membership link. Yes, I'll send you out a link today to the portal, and I'll go into the group. I'll keep an email out for me. Let me write that down. I'll resend the link through email to everyone who's in the course. And then what I'll do, Sarah Becker, I'll send you the message. I'll talk to you through Messenger and make sure that you can get into it. And I'll also put a post up with the link. It'll say, it should say portal. So what happens is when you go onto your, into the portal, there should be a little icon. It should say library, and there should be a little icon up in the top right corner. And you click on that and you will log into the portal, and that will automatically open up every single course that you have now and in the future. So what I'm doing is I'm going to transfer, I've been transferring the tie retraining series over into another course. But as well as that, what I'm doing is we're going to have a weekly retraining series in a community section where we're going to have a group and we're going to work through each lesson together. So I haven't opened it up as public as yet, but I've got 3 lessons already in the tie retraining series. So we're going to pick a day to start, and we're going to do a weekly Zoom session and just work through each video in the course. So it's going to be like a Facebook group, like our Facebook group, where it just came up, Paula, you'll like this. It just came up a little icon from Gutsbusters. I've bought so many Gutsbuster hay nets that I've got about $240 worth of points to use. And then my points disappeared. So I've just got a notice saying they're back, being a full-on hay girl. But so what we're going to do, and keep an eye out for an email. I'll reach out to you, Sarah Becker, so you can tell me, make sure everything's working okay, because I get so confused. But we're going to, you have the link to the Kickstart Roadmap course. That course, so everything that you get, you have lifetime access to. And then each course, so just say next time you go into the portal, there's going to be, just say I've got a rider balance course, a tie retraining and OTTB with tie course. So they're going to be all your online courses that you can go through anytime, all going to be recorded lifetime, like the Kickstart Roadmap. And then what I'm doing now, it will be great, Sarah Becker. I've got some, I know exactly what I'm doing, what my plan is. It's just a matter of putting it all together. But then what I'm doing, and I had to just reorganize the platforms, because what I had is I was paying for 2 platforms that, and I'd set up the tie retraining course in the second platform where our community is, but it was costing me way too much. And I thought, this is a waste of money, because I've already got a wonderful course platform that I can build my online courses on. So what I'm doing is we've got like a group, and it's going to work out better. So it's actually going to work out better because we've got like a Facebook group for our tie retraining series, and I'm going to upload a lesson each week. Okay, I'll pick the Monday, and then what we're going to do is at the end of the week, we'll do a live Q&A training about that particular lesson. So for instance, I've got how a horse learns. So you can watch that lesson from the Monday, and just say on the Friday, we'll do a live Zoom coaching call, and we'll talk about that lesson that we learned. And we can record that. So it's going to be live training. And then that particular lesson will stay in the group, like our Facebook group, and our live training. But then I'll also transfer that over onto the other platform and build the course out of it. So you've got 2 places to go to. So you'll have, so just say in a year, if you wanted to go back to the retraining with tie series, you've just got a whole online course of lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, lesson 4. And you've also got the private Facebook group, so you can go through that. Yeah, I know. I'm so sorry it's taking me so long, but I think it's going to work out a lot better, because had I not changed it, well, then I sort of would have had 2 courses. I think the whole community live training thing is going to work out really well. And we'll get to say, I think there's about 10 of us already. So we'll get a whole group of us together and pick a day to start and work through together. But it's all going to be recorded. And I know how busy everybody gets. And if you're not feeling well, like Paula, if you can't make the live training Zoom session, it's going to be recorded anyway. And you can pop up posts and everything in the group. So it's going to work out a lot better, and it's going to be a lot more interactive, and we'll have a lot clearer structure to it. And then it's going to be doubled. As I said, you can just go into your library and go into the online library thing. What I'll do is I'll do a Zoom. I'll do it tonight. When I'm sitting down with my cup of tea, I'll do a live Zoom, a live screen recording, and just show you how to get into the portal for the Kickstart Roadmap course. So you'll see there's going to be 2 different areas. They're going to be, well, I've got a link already, so you can go into like the Facebook group page, OTTB Success Academy, and then on the sidebar will be a link that goes into your library for the online courses. So yeah, it will be great. We'll get there. I'm more motivated now. I've finished my unit 2 in hand and I can breathe a little bit. I haven't started my unit 3, so I'll use this week to get our whole academy thing going and pick up on the Tyree training series. I'll use this week to get that up and going before I start off on unit 3. And I'm getting into more of a system with my horses as well. That's been so overwhelming. Having to, well, Paulie, you would know, having to try and get your horses off the grass. And I have to honestly say I get really overwhelmed with having 19 horses and having to do this. I'm just, I just think sometimes I'm crazy. But I have a plan. I have a plan. With all my horses, as I said, I don't rehome them anymore. So I've got 19 horses. I know it's so many, Paula. It's just, I just go, oh, what am I doing? Why? But I want to film. So I'm going to film. I don't have any help. No, I don't have any help, Sarah Becker. I do it all myself and it's insane. I will start to look out for help. I worry about insurance and things like that, you know. Yeah, once when I was out doing a lot of coaching and teaching, I had my own insurance. When I got injured, I stopped that, and that covered any employees that I have. But I will look at getting someone else in as well. But yeah, it's definitely a lot that I've taken on, and I've got 7 dogs. They're pretty easy, really. So my step today, I'll send out an email and I'll screen record how to log into, yeah, volunteers. Yes, I had, true, just a liability. Yes, true. Okay, a liability waiver. Okay. They should pay me. Yeah, well, you know, getting to hang out with, I know I worked for free many years ago. I worked for free in riding schools and in lieu of a lesson a week and that. Oh, thanks, Sarah Becker. Thank you. And my horses are so beautiful as well. There's a lot to learn from my horses. They really are. I will look at that, especially now as the weather's getting warmer here. There's not many people that want to come out in the freezing cold in Canberra. It gets down to like -6 and 7 here. But as it's coming warmer, especially I had a couple of younger girls come out. When I had, they were really good. Ty, the client's horse was here. The young girls came out and helped me. So they were really good. So a couple of young girls would be really good because they love the horses as well. So I'll send out an email with your new login details into the portal, and I'll do a Zoom recording in the group. I'll just write this down and show you how to get into the portal. Because it is a little bit confusing if you're going into just the, I think one email took you to straight, if you're just going into the Kickstart roadmap and trying to access on the little Kickstart roadmap, you won't be able to get into that one because you need to, it's a portal link. There's a little, if you try again before, I'll get this out today, but if you go up into the top right-hand corner, you should be able to log in there. Let me know how you go, but I'll get something out today and do that. My 2 things. And it will be great, guys. So thank you so much for your patience. You guys are just wonderful. Sarah Becker, your hat looks great. They're a great quality cap, aren't they? I'm so impressed with them. Let me get. I've got some. How cool. I am so impressed. Oh, thanks, Sarah Becker. I'm slow. I'm slow. But once I get there, I will, it will be wonderful. It will be wonderful. I know it will. I watch so many other people's, well, I don't watch it, but I do so many, I look at so many other people's trainings, and I just want to make it really clear. So I think sometimes things happen for a reason. I'll just get some good structure to it. And the more experience I have with the lessons and the videos, the more I can give you guys. So I think a lot of people that are starting out on businesses, online learning and things like that, it's a bit of a learning curve, that's for sure. But I know some wonderful, there's a trainer called, what's her name? You know, she used to be CRK Training. Callie King. She's fantastic. She's been going at it for over about 12, 13 years now. She's different. So hers is sort of more general horse training and horse riding, but she's a wonderful online coach. And I know it took her a long while to get out there and get everything together. It's a great cap, isn't it? I just love it. And you can get the same logo in, and the quality is fantastic. Sorry, I've got a pink one as well. So they're through print on demand. That's why you got it so fast, Sarah Becca, because I think there's my pink one. I love pink. And this one is a little, so these are the trucker caps. They sort of sit down a little bit lower. And then this is like a little dad cap. This is just little softer, cottony. There. I'm like that. I have so many caps. Yeah, this is really comfy. So this sort of sits down. Oh, do you? You have a huge head. I have a small, well, it's got the, see, I've got a small head. I've had to really tighten that up. I've only got a little head. I tell my ex it's just full of brain, though. I've just got lots of brain in there. But yeah, this is just different. I've got the dad cap. I looked at the two styles. So I've got the dad cap and the trucker cap. And they're the two nice styles, but they are really good quality cap. Let me know if you do order another one, Sarah Becca. Let me know how you go, because I had to go in and do something with the platform before your order was actually approved. So it's like I'm learning that as well. So I have to work out how that works. But yeah, the trucker cap is fantastic. But I've got all different, like you can get the trucker cap with just the pink logo or just the white logo. I've got so many caps, but now it's my business. I'll get more of these. But I've got lots of race day caps, ladies in racing caps, and put the pink on. I'm like a model. So this is sort of that's the pink. Oh, thank you. Do I? I do love pink. I've always loved pink. It's part of my brand. So this is more of a pale pink because I didn't have the hot pink, but it's still nice. It still goes. And then I've got the magenta color in my brand. Yeah. I love pink, and it's different. It's soft. They're all nice, actually, but the caps are such a good quality. I want to make up some t-shirts. I want to make up some t-shirts as well with some like some really good comments, like put your ass on some class, ride a thoroughbred. I like that comment. I want to do those, but once again, making merchandise is challenging because I love to. I've got some beautiful. I've got some merchandise. Like I've got this, and now. The pink with the magnet probably looks good. Yeah, with the magnet. Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Yeah, okay, pink with the magenta. Never thought of that. But see, that's got that. This is my merch tops. But these are magenta. Yeah, that's a good idea, actually. I didn't think of that. I'll make one of those up. It's pretty good. It's pretty easy to design the caps. Yeah, license plate holders. Yeah, you can do a lot. I think there's so many creative ways. I love doing. I had some t-shirts years ago. I'll do some of those as well. But these I order from a local company. They're quite expensive, actually. Yeah, well, I was looking at pants. I would love to find some pants. I was looking at, thinking, build your business. I could have my own like riding tights, because these ones, I don't know if you can see them. I stand up. These are riding tights. These are pure. These are a local brand. They're tights, pure canter. I thought, how cool would it be to have my own brand? These are really comfy. I've gone into the tights, but yeah, if you ever want, these are quite expensive, but I ordered them from a local company, and they do the printing for me. But if you ever wanted one, I'll show you. I've got some new stuff arriving today. Let me know. I can order it for you. I wouldn't make any money from it because it's too expensive to be able to sell them. But I can definitely order one in for you, and you can just pay the cost of what it costs me to get it. Because I've got some nice. Sorry, they just said that they've achieved my assessment, received my assessment. It's hard to find pants, is it? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, no, let me know. Yep, if anyone does, that's fine. But the caps are easy because they're on my side, so I've just got to make sure you're right, Sarah Becca? I'll put this back in here. But I hope you start to feel better. Go look. I will. Yeah, I'll go look. I don't know if they've marked it yet, but I hope I pass. I don't know if it's passed. If I get a grade, I put a lot of work into it. I did good. Yeah, my assessment. I think it's just that they had to download everything and send it through. And I did I can share it with you guys, actually. I did a YouTube video assessment because you can to go down there, like it's in Victoria, but everything's done online nowadays. So you video yourself going through all the things that you have to show that you can demonstrate with the training and then send it through. So I did that, but I had to do dragon, and it was really good actually, because they were looking for it wasn't good, but the big water pump thing came down when I was doing it. So dragon was a little bit sensitive. But anyway, it is what it is. And it showed my training in a situation that there was some extra aversive stimuli around in the environment. But so I might leave it there. Paula, I hope you feel better. Go and get that spirulina and the Siberian ginseng. And I'll email out a link today and do a Zoom recording just so you work out how to get back into the Kickstart roadmap. And we'll go from there. I'll keep getting more training up. As I said, I've got a week off from before I commence Unit 3. So I'll get a lot of downloads done in the course. We'll get started. Okay. Thanks, Sarah Becca. Take care with the fires. Oh, you poor thing. I hope it's not well, I hope you stay safe. And Paula, I hope you start to feel better. Go and get the ginseng into you and some spirulina. And I will keep an eye out for an email today with your login details. And then, Sarah Becca, I'll get you to let me know through Messenger if you could log in okay. Okay, have a good day. Bye. See you, Paula.